Hey everybody, it's Kim Duramo, live with MindBody TV. Took me a minute to get in here. I'm outside today and in this beautiful spot. You can see the mountains in the back here in Durango. So in this episode of MindBody TV, I am going to share really about how powerful we really are and how to access that inner power. And it's a concept that I understand as embracing health, but it's not just about our health. A true expansion of health is a true expansion of everything we are. Our abundance, our wealth, our joy, our relationships and love, and all of the truth of who we are. So a lot of times there are people practicing different ways, and there are people doing all kinds of things that can be like a quick fix. Like, hey, fix my headache, fix my hip pain, fix my anxiety, fix my food allergy. And it isn't necessarily a true expansion. It isn't necessarily something that brings us into a higher frequency, a higher experience of our true health and our true wealth, and is a real opening to receive more of who we are. So the difference between embracing health, which is like, it's our birthright, it's our nature, it's what we are, versus like getting a fix is massive. And so anything that doesn't create a true expansion is not the same thing. So specifically, I took down a couple notes. The biggest thing I think for me is the fact that we can't fight disease or like fix the problem, because then all of our energy and attention is going on the problem. So we can only create more of what we focus on. Where you put your attention goes is where your energy flows. So if your attention is on your symptoms and your problems and your pain and your anxiety, or an autoimmune disease or whatever, food allergies, you really are only going to get expansion of that. More problems to solve, more challenges to work with. But if you can actually switch that from trying to fix the problem or fight disease into embracing health, inviting in abundance, inviting in that expansion, it's a completely different journey. So that's what I'm going to be sharing about today. For those of you who don't know me, I am a physician and have switched my practice over to really focus solely on mind-body medicine and on the body's ability to heal itself. But I'm also working sort of non-locally, meaning not just that I see people all over the world on Skype, which I do, but that we are not separate bodies. You're not just a separate physical thing. You are connected with everyone around you. And so the way I function, it's really easy for me to tune into other people's bodies and other people's lives, your family, your history, whatever might be going on. That's actually what's creating the challenge, the problem, the illness, or the disease. And to assist you in releasing that, so you have not just a fix and then you got to keep going back for more, but a true expansion. So I'm actually in the process of kind of a rebranding from this idea of mind-body medicine, which is all well and good. It's beautiful. Your mind affects your body. But to encompass what I'm actually doing that goes beyond your mind or your body or yourself as separate. And I've been operating in unity consciousness. That's how I do my work and why I can connect with people so easily and so readily, and to understand what's going on within them that they may not even know and usually don't. So it's really more of a metaphysical. Meta is above what governs the physical world. So I've been thinking about the term metaphysician. It's definitely spot on for what I've been doing as a physician. I don't know if it has a lot of meaning in the world that people understand what that means, but that is the word I've been working with, is metaphysician, and working with what governs the physical to allow shifts there so that the physical can change really, really beautifully. All right, so I love hearing where you're tuning in from. Hello, everyone who's here live. I always like to give a shout out to everyone who's listening to the podcast or watching the video recording. So hello to you. Oh, great. Jennifer, Victoria, Rachel, Frank. Oh, hi. I just spent an amazing time in Sedona a couple weeks ago, and our friend Frank Lyford was there as well, serendipitously. Rachel says, it looks beautiful where you are. I'm flying out today to go to Phoenix for the Global Expansion Summit, which I've created for practitioners who are in kind of similar business that I'm doing and doing similar work. And my day got a little discombobulated, and I forgot to go to my office and get the thing on. I was like, oh my God, it's almost 11 o'clock. So I found a spot, and here we are. All right, I love hearing where you're tuning in from too. Anna, hello. Maura, you look amazing. Thank you. Okay, so here's getting into some of the meat of what I wanted to share. The biggest shift that's happening right now for those of us who are awakening and maybe experiencing a lot of turmoil along the way, physically, mentally, emotionally, with relationships, is to remember we are primarily vibrational. We are not primarily physical. So when we are in that identity of this is my physical body and I need a physical solution and I got to do this physical thing, or well, yeah, this metaphysical thing's all well and good, but I have a real physical problem, so I have to really get into the nitty-gritty of the physical in order to change it. None of those are really true. Your physical body is governed by your energy body. And so if you remember that you are primarily vibrational, there are a lot more possibilities you can tap into. All right, hello, Maddie. Randy says, so happy to hear this. I'm so discouraged that my hair loss keeps getting worse, and as well as my teeth and jaw issues. And I don't feel clear on what to address or what to do. Okay, so here's the thing with embracing health. When you become aware of like all the energies that are behind that, the emotions, the defeat, the hopelessness, the helplessness, it's not a matter of be positive, don't focus on those negative things at all. It's a matter of letting them transmute. So if you can be in the awareness of what's underneath this hair loss, whether it's feelings of worthlessness, if it's tied into like your identity and your self-worth, feelings of hopelessness, feelings of being out of control, like this is happening so fast and I don't know what's going on and I can't control it. A lot of these persistent health issues are here to bring up these energies in our awareness so that we can transmute them. So let yourself be aware of like what's behind all of this. Is there fear, which is the / control? Fear and control are like two sides of the same coin. Is there hopelessness and a feeling of defeat? I had an experience a few weeks back and really released a lot of energy around this hopelessness and defeat that I felt about what's going on in my pelvic floor since having had a vaginal delivery a couple of years ago, where it's like everything's just not the same. It's not the same lift. It's kind of like things are in a different place. It feels uncomfortable. I don't know what to do. And I felt so frustrated, but I was aware that there was this underlying hopelessness and helplessness. Like I've been left behind and nobody cares about me and I don't have what I need and I'll never have it. There was a layer of futility. Like no matter what I do, it won't work. So I was just present with that. Breathed and breathed and breathed and allowed the energy to release, which it will. This is 100% of what's in the programs that I share, especially the Embracing Health program, is like transmutation to let those energies release. But become conscious of them first, or like stuff's gonna keep coming up in your life to knock on that door so that you can be. So I would just feel into like what's underneath this, that what is it bringing up for you? Hello, Lori from Vegas, Judy from Utah. All right, Mary says, can you address hypothyroidism that is not Hashimoto's? I've been tested numerous times for Hashimoto's and it's been negative all 3 times. It's actually irrelevant if it's Hashimoto's or not. Not irrelevant in every way, but as far as what is required for you to come back into balance, it's irrelevant. What is important, and that's your throat chakra. Being willing to speak your truth, being willing to let this real truth of who you are, how you feel, what's going on, how you think, be heard and be seen, and actually let it come through your vessel of your body. So any ways that you're not living in alignment with that, maybe you haven't even let yourself know. It's not that like, wow, I know I'm really bigger than what I'm doing, but I'm just too scared to change. Sometimes we're so in suppression, like we don't even know who we really are, what we really have to say, or what we feel. Like, how do you really feel about what's going on in your life? How do you really feel about what you're choosing to do, what you're saying yes to? How do you really feel? So if you could allow yourself to align with like the idea of the highest possibility of you, being free, being expressed, whatever that might look like, being honored, cherished, and loved, being an unbelievable contribution just by being you. What might that look like? Now, don't go to the mind and some kind of projection. Just feel it. Wow, I don't even know what that would look like, but it would feel amazing. It would be incredible. Or, wow, I have no idea what it looked like, and I can't even imagine what it would feel like. Just take 10 minutes to tune into it. And you might just feel some tingling first, which is new sensations coming in. But you want to begin to connect with, am I really ready to let myself be all of who I am in the world? I know for me, this is like an ever-expanding proposition. I'm going to move a little here. It's an ever-expanding proposition of more of me showing up. And like I said, with this rebranding, to even step out as a physician and be like, I'm not going to do this ER thing anymore. I'm going to do mind-body medicine and really share this wisdom that I know and help people own their power and really create changes in their body. But one of the main things I'm doing isn't actually seen in the context of that, because it's way more expansive than that. It's not just your mind affecting your body. It's how your body affects everyone and everything. How other people are affecting you and your energy. How even people from the past that you haven't met before in your lineage have an effect experiencing in your life. And even your, sorry, we got a call there. So even your DNA expression is affected by this. So to operate non-locally, meaning I'm in unity consciousness, I'm totally aware that I'm not separate from you, and that through the work I'm doing, we can transmute energy in your body for good. That's not really encompassed in mind-body medicine. So for me to wake up to that, there was like some discomfort around like, oh, this isn't working so well for me anymore. It doesn't feel as expansive as I want to feel. And let something bigger come through. It changes the way I do everything. And in the Embracing Health program, this is a big piece that we're operating in, is we're operating in unity consciousness and allowing you to transmute energies you may be completely unaware of, energies you couldn't have accessed in certainly a conventional medical paradigm, and not even in a mind-body paradigm where it's like, I gotta just rethink this and fix my body and connect and make this change. It's actually about letting something in that's beyond you. Hello, Mary from Swansea, Mass. Natasha from California. Happy to be here. All right, Jeline from Wisconsin. Frank, I'm tuning in from Moab, Utah, on my way to Salt Lake City, which is awesome. All right, Katie from Wales. Hello, Brooke. Stephanie, I'm breathing helped with my pelvic floor after having my third baby. That's awesome. I actually did a really profound emotional release. I might as well finish my story. To release that helplessness, that hopelessness, the despair, the futility, all of those energies. And it was within 2 days my pelvis felt completely different, but I literally found, after 2 years of like really searching, something that helped immensely to strengthen my pelvis. And it's already changed physically. I was skipping down the street with my daughter the other day. We do this red light, green light game, and we're running down the street on the green light, and then we stop on the red light, and on the pink light, we skip. And there I was skipping, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel like I have to pee. Oh my God, I feel that solidarity in my pelvis. Holy word, this is amazing. And that was after like that very next day. So it was like day 3 after I did that emotional release. Sandy says, when you try to see what's behind your symptoms, how does the answer arrive? I ask myself, but I don't get any clarity. You've got to get out of the mind and into the body, which is another big piece you will integrate as you do if you're in the Embracing Health program. We've just launched this program last week, so this is out in the world now. The link is at drkimd.com/health. So what you need to do is get out of the head, because your receptivity is only going to be what you already know, and get into the body, because the body is like incredibly receptive. You can receive awareness that goes beyond what you've ever imagined, and you can actually just let energy transmute even if you don't understand what's going on. So breathe into your body all the way down to your pelvis. And when you ask the question like, what would it take for me to really release this at the core? Or what are the energies that are underneath this pain or symptom that I'm having? Or what is really at the core of what's preventing my thyroid from getting the energy it needs to function normally? What's required for me to release this? You may all of a sudden have inspirations about changing your work or releasing a relationship or go and call so-and-so or go travel across the country, or, it could be something really simple like go take a nap. And you're like, well, no, I need my answer. What's my answer? And this healing, when you embrace health, it will speak to you beyond the mind. Meaning it's not like, oh, let me understand about how sleep helps restore and heal the thyroid. Okay, maybe I should do that and then I'll get more sleep. And you don't have to learn it. Like, you could just be like, I'm going to follow this inspiration and just go lay down right now. And then you didn't realize like your body was ready to just collapse and go through a massive reintegration. And you're right on time. So there's wisdom in your body. You can access that when you listen from a deeper space. All right, Estelle says, hugs from Baltimore. If we can't make the commitment to the year-long program, will you still be doing the weekly videos? Oh, I'll still be in here, but the Embracing Health, and it's a really, really low investment because there's like a monthly payment. So you can check it out at the link, what that might be like, or email my team. But at drkimd.com/health, even if you were to invest, like, let's say you don't have all this time that you're like, I'm going to commit to these 2 calls a month, but you're like making the investment, just that first call will begin to open really, really powerful things in your system. So it's really worth, like, what else are you investing in your life? If it's not a huge commitment, but what can you move around to make space for that monthly commitment, that you can make a monthly investment to your own personal expansion, expanding into a higher dimension of reality where you experience more fluidity, you allow in resources. You've got to be the one to choose that and be like, frick yeah, this is the most important thing. This is something I'm going to prioritize. Let me see if I can let go of something else. And allow more in, because you'll get only so far with like not making that investment to yourself. And you could show up weekly and it's awesome, but if your yes is telling you like, let's move in that direction, and you're like, no, I can't, I don't have the money, or I'm not going to invest in that, or we're all investing in all kinds of things every day, but it's a matter of like, what's the frequency of your time, energy, and money investment. Time where you're like, I got to do all these things for other people, or they'll be upset with me and I can't let that happen, or the fear that has you think, oh, I got to do all these things and I don't have time for myself. That's a lot of the frequency. If you're anchoring that in, lack of resources is going to continue to show up. And until you make the choice, like, yes, I'm choosing this is where I'm putting my energy, this is my investment, every cell in your body will hear you. And you will immediately experience a shift. So feel into like, if this is really a yes for me, why am I not choosing it? What am I making more important? And how could I really prioritize what I need most and what I'm ready to receive? So I will still be, for the meantime anyway, tuning in here, but we go much deeper in the program, in the Embracing Health program. You'll have a lot more personal assistance from me, and the integrations that I bring you through twice a month are literally life-changing. They will shift decades and decades and decades of old energies that you may not have been aware of, that you're carrying around in your body or in your frequency, and it's gonna affect everything in your life, your money flows, your health, your relationships, your work and prosperity. So if anyone in here has been in that program, please share what your experience has been, because I know it's really helpful for people to know, like, what did you experience from this? A lot of people had disease release after many years of like, there's nothing I can do. Got off medications. Certainly thyroid disease healing, that's really common. Adrenal fatigue syndrome, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, gut problems with like food intolerances, where people were able to now be in way more fluidity and tolerate more foods. So everything in your body can be affected by this integration and really cultivate that expansion into true health and true wealth. And I say true health, true wealth, because our idea of health is a lot of times like just about that fix. Just get me to feel better right now. Just get me out of pain. But you haven't actually increased your frequency. It's going to come back. Or you get out of physical pain, but like you're miserable and experiencing anxiety every day. I had a friend who went on this diet and she's like, oh my God, this really works for me. It's amazing. And I lost 20 pounds. And this is so great, but she's miserable and had to start taking antidepressants because she can't get along with her husband. She's fighting all the time. She's like, I'm a bitch all the time because I'm so miserable. So it's got to come out one way or the other. And it's only with a true expansion into health or abundance and wealth that we actually experience the joy that we're really looking for. Katie says, I get what can only be described as despair attacks, like panic attacks, but instead I'm being afraid and overwhelmed with despair, usually in the middle of the night. I resist it and am not really aware of what's going on. Any suggestions? Okay. Unquestioningly, you could move forward in the work like what we're talking about. If that's a yes for you, choose it, because when there are these old energies that are coming up, you're ready to move into something more expansive. And so it's all the ways you think, oh no, I can't have it. Oh, I can't do it. And your body's like, okay, let's turn up the volume so that she can have this insight and begin to release, whatever it is that you're afraid of or feeling so despairing of. For me, when I'm willing to move into the energy, instead of trying to avoid it, make it go away, it will dissolve very quickly. So take some time, take 10 minutes, take 20 minutes, take an hour, light some candles, get your journal, do a few deep breaths, and let this despair know, I'm ready to give you the space. I'm ready to give you my attention, my loving, open, willing attention. And then just presence it, like 10 breaths, 20 breaths. And just feel what you feel in your body and journal it and let yourself experience that, to let this energy release and let it speak to you. The reason it's coming up and busting through and happens while you're in the middle of the night or in the middle of being calm is because it's trying to get some attention so that it can release. You're ready for an expansion. All right, everybody. Hi, Kathy. I'm going to take a few more questions. Brooke says, how do you release hopelessness? Same way. Exactly what I described. Despair, hopelessness, grief, pain, which physical pain you'll feel behind it. There'll be like a fear it will get worse, a fear I'll be incapacitated. Pain can also be a resistance and judgment of the body, like, oh, I gotta keep it together, and not letting yourself have total free expression. So it's all the same. They're not really different that way. Mary says, thank you. Very interesting insight that you just shared with me. I believe I know the origin of my repressed throat chakra. Makes a lot of sense now. Awesome. Well, this is one of the ways, functioning non-locally, I can tune into someone's system and immediately know and call out what's going on. And when we did this in the Embracing Health calls, people would come on the video or the call live, and we'd interface that way. I could hear their voice. I could listen in even more deeply to really tune into mega layers of what was going on and assist in releasing that. And so when people did the program, whether they listened to the recording or they were on the call, everyone in the group would receive, even from that one person's question and that one person's integration. And there'd be maybe 5 or 10 people who do these really powerful integrations through that call. So people would always share oh my gosh, even though I don't even have kids or I'm not experiencing any of those specifics, it was exactly the same energy that I touched in and felt release in my body, that I connected with in my body and let release through the call and through the integration. So you will inevitably have that experience with many energies, with despair, hopelessness, grief, fear, of course, that's like one of the biggest ones. And then a lot of things that are keeping people in lack, where it's like, no matter what I do, I can't get what I need. And I'm just working and struggling. So to get out of the mind into the heart. Judy says, I'm in the Embracing Health program and I'm so excited about it. Yay! We have a Facebook group in there, so I'll be in there to assist and connect much more deeply than what I'm typically doing in the MindBody community. I'll be in that group personally and do the calls each month. Anne says, in North Carolina, as I'm opening and awakening, I'm experiencing my symptoms louder, like you spoke of last week. Lots of dizziness and nausea. I'm tuning in, and trying to tune in is so fuzzy. Any suggestions? So support yourself through that. Drink lots of water. Feel into what does my body need. Some salt baths can be helpful. But a lot of times what happens is the symptoms get louder and then we go into fear. So just take 10 minutes, it's okay, I'm willing to listen. And even just loving touch through the body. Body, I love you. It's okay for me to be right here. It's okay for me to let this go. Brooke says, what if the body's reacting adversely to environment, preventing real rest? This is really, really common. I mean, when we're in that level of fear, it's essential to let go of some of that energy, because it's going to just eat everything. You can't even sleep. You can't even restore. So see if you can make some space to get out of that fight or flight where the body's getting that signal, shut down, protect, we're not okay. And to just like take 10 breaths 3 times a day to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, because that will allow restoration during the day, so that you're not so amped up all day and destroying your cells. And it will actually significantly improve your sleep at night, because you'll be able to go down to a deeper space. Your body doesn't try to get it all in at night because you've been fired up and amped up all day. Take 3 times a day to just do 10 slow, deep breaths into the belly and feel what's coming up. All right, I'm gonna take a couple more. Judy says, how is your work different from and or similar to the work of Joe Dispenza? Oh, it's really actually a great question. He's doing really expansive work, obviously in unity consciousness as well. There are different ways we are working with individuals. I'm tuning into pure consciousness, and he's doing a lot of really powerful work as well. I think there are a lot of similarities. The way we do the work is different. I'll tune into individuals' energy on very, very many different layers and allow it to transmute. And it's really your willing participation that allows that to happen. So a little bit of a different methodology, but a lot of similarities in what we're actually doing. Judy says, your work so resonates with me. Awesome. All right. Let me just zip through and see what else we've got. Can you achieve that if your body's hyper-reactive to the environment? Well, yeah, the reason your body is so reactive is because of that energy state. Your physical body it's a hologram. It is always a reflection of that energy body. So if your energy body's in, I'm not okay, or there are unresolved traumas from the past, this is really, really important to resolve, because your body doesn't know it's unresolved, and it's still reacting and protecting, and it will keep reacting and protecting until you get to that root and allow it to release, which is really why I bring people so deeply into that connection with themselves through the work and through the calls we've done in the Embracing Health group, so that you can let not just decades and decades of stuff you've held in your life, but eons of energy that you've held through your lineage, that have been carried through, and it's now is the time for this to resolve. There are a lot of studies about this where we'll look at, people who don't even know that, some person in the past went through, molestation or Holocaust survivor or really intense traumas. And when they're able to transmute those energies, they themselves are no longer experiencing challenges with health or money or sexuality. We are not separate from anything. We are still connected. So if there are, let me just share one of the studies. They looked at little mice exposed to the scent of cherry blossoms, and when they be exposed to cherry blossoms, they'd be given a shock, electric shock. So they had pain and the electric shock, and their systems went into the stress response. Cortisol levels went up. Their body went out of homeostasis. And they conditioned those mice, but then the offspring of those mice, and it was 3 generations later that they looked at, who had never been exposed to an electric shock, when they were faced with the cherry blossom scent, their body would also go into a stress response. Stress hormones would go up, their homeostasis would go out of balance, even though there was no actual threat. And it had been carried into the DNA, this perceived threat, the cherry blossom being linked to a threat. And that's why so many of us, there's money, and then there's lack and fear, or there's sexuality, and then there's I have to shut my body down, I'm not safe, or there's even just our way of perceiving the body, it's not okay, I should just be spiritual, I shouldn't be physical, and suppression. And so then the body goes into discord and it can't heal. The thyroid goes out of whack. The entire immune system can't function. We can't even digest our food. So many, many, many people are carrying these energies. It's really not a matter of doing a lineage investigation and trying to manipulate your DNA. It's so much easier than that because we can allow this to transmute. Your physical DNA actually changes when we change the energy frequency you're in. And like I said, there's so much really amazing science now where we can see this. We can see this happening. We can see that DNA changes depending on the energy environment and the frequency. And so you're just a big energy frequency walking around, constantly having an impact on your cells. So how do we tune into those deeper levels of like, oh, the stuff that happened in my past, known and unknown, related to the fact that I can't have a loving sexual relationship, related to the fact that I'm always sick and I feel like crap, I don't have any energy, related to why do I have cancer or MS or an autoimmune disease, related to I never have enough money, it's always like just barely making it and still struggling. How do I transmute these energies? And that's really exactly what we do when we go deeper with this work. You're already doing it on some level. But if you know you're ready to go deeper, this is the way I've created the Embracing Health program exactly to do that, to bring you through 2 integrations per month over the course of the year. You can take 2 years to do it if you're like, I don't have that much time. It's pretty easy. It's only a couple hours twice a month. So however you want to move through it, you don't need to rush. But we have set it up over the course of a year because that's a really good amount of time to allow this cellular regeneration, to allow you to have that upgrade in consciousness, to allow your life situation to revolve and fluctuate, like maybe a completely different work/career, completely different relationship, really creating major life changes, but effortlessly because you're embracing what's really aligned for you. Emily said, I had a release whilst listening to another person sharing with you last year on Embracing Health. Yeah, thank you. A lot of people will say like, oh my God, what you just did, like the other person who was live, moved something in my body. I felt it cellularly. So we're connected and we really are experiencing a lot of the same energies as what other people have brought up. So it will be really helpful for you to experience that. Melissa said, I've lived with chronic pain so long, it's all I know. Yeah, so even like transmuting that to allow something higher to come in because you're just in an old pattern. I've been obsessed with getting better and this sounds exactly like what I need. I've been on a heavy pursuit of healing for several years and although I've gotten, quote, better, I'm not letting go of this pain in my head, my neck, my shoulders, chronic lack. It's been a life of chronic daily migraines and fibromyalgia. Well, welcome to something higher. It's okay you've experienced it that way. It's like part of the journey because of the compassion you will integrate for yourself of A, oh my God, it's been so hard for me. Holy cow, I didn't realize like this has been unthinkable. B, wow, I'm actually amazing that I even kept breathing through this and having the will to move into something higher. How did I even find my way? So like really appreciating a deeper aspect of yourself. And then C, yes, I am ready to honor, love, and appreciate this depth of what I've seen in myself and allow myself to receive at a much higher level. All right, awesome. Brooke says, amen. Now is the time for this to resolve. Alex, if we've been working on these energies for years and we're still struggling, how are we supposed to know what ancestral energies need to be released? You don't. When I'm reading into people, it's really part of the equation. And even if all you're aware of is like, okay, whatever's linked to this, known and unknown, carried through my lineage, carried from unknown past, like it's okay, I'm ready to release this. You'll begin getting the insights you need if there's some conscious work on your part or just having energies come up and erupt that are releasing, so just make space for them. You can actually receive beyond what you consciously understand. So that's okay. And a lot of these transmutations are really, really fast and fluid. It's not like we have to analyze them. But I will, even if for those in the Facebook group and Embracing Health, be able to read for you, like if you're like, hey, this is what's coming up for me. I had one woman, she had severe dizziness, so vertigo and like years and years and years and years, ringing in her ear, tinnitus was the thing. And no one had been able to find anything like what's going on. And in just her Facebook posts, I literally read into the exactly energy of what was going on. And there was a huge lineage pattern. And I called it out and it was like, boom, 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 boom. See if you can allow this forgiveness and allow the release of this and allow something higher to integrate. And she told me the next day she had no more tinnitus and the dizziness was resolving. So that was huge, because that's a really pervasive thing people can have for years and years and years, like a ringing in their ear, high-pitched frequencies. Once you allow that shift, those frequencies integrate. So it's just like, you know, if you have a background noise playing all the time, it gets canceled out eventually. But when new frequencies are coming in, they don't unless they're integrated. But that's basically, it was just to share that I really was able to read into exactly what was going on, even in her lineage pattern, just from a Facebook post. So there's a lot, even in that Facebook group, that you can receive. I'm not answering every single question that comes through, but I will be in there personally in the Facebook group, and I will be there live every single month personally to answer questions. Frank said, this is so helpful for me, Kim. Not for a health challenge, but for a money challenge. Telling me that I'm stifling my creativity, my inner child. A friend shifted me for a friend stiffed me for $400 in debt that he owed me. Yet I know this is my echo, my creation. I'm sitting with it as you're reminding me to, and hearing the inner message. Thank you. Yeah. So can you just let yourself receive your wealth, either through the channel of that friend repaying you, or like most likely through some totally different channel, and receive that $400 like multiplied 10 times over in a really fluid way? Because it's not going to be fluid to try to make him give it back. He doesn't have the ability to give it back or the integrity to give it back. But for you to neutralize that, like, okay, I receive everything that is here for me unconditionally, and bless that friend and actually complete with him in your mind. Maybe just write him a little note that you don't even have to send it, but just like, you're off the hook. Thank you for this exchange. I'm willing to receive the value of this $400 investment of mine to get out of attachment and into abundance. Andrea says, since following your work, I found myself to be in a much higher awareness of my energies, but physical symptoms are ramping up. Yeah, so to let these transmute physically is like a major, major key. You can't just have the understanding and then like not really let it integrate in your 3D reality. I no longer go into fear about the symptoms, but I'd like to experience one of your programs. Just trying to decide which one. Embracing health. I would say right now, 100% embracing health. There may be a group retreat for you in the future as well, but the embracing health is going to get you into the expansion where you can receive so much more at that group retreat, and you can choose the group retreat because you'll be in the fluidity of, I receive all things in grace and ease. So that would be if that's resonating for you, a really, really great place to start is with the embracing health, because we'll go so deep with the work. There is a piece in it that's integrating some stuff that's in the instant elevation, that's in the MindBody solution for pain release. There's a whole online portion called MindBody Mastery, it's not the same as the other programs, but using tools and integrations that you can do on your own. So you'll have that as well. Hello, Melissa, Carly, Brooke. Brooke says, is embracing health an okay entry point if one hasn't worked with you before? Yes, this is actually a perfect entry point. And one of the reasons, like I just said, is there is an integration there with tools to like get you adept at working with the technology of your body and your mind-body system, getting used to that, practicing with that, letting it be easy and fluid, letting it be joyful, and letting it really integrate into, this is just how I function. This is how I move through the world. This is how I awaken in my day. So there's a whole piece in there in the Embracing Health program that will give you that. So you don't have to start with one of the other entry points. You could definitely jump in and you will love it, because the calls are really, really powerful. You will definitely feel the transmutation on the calls. You do want to make time to like be in the space of just listening to the call versus I'm driving my car and I'm listening. It's not information. It's not like, okay, I'm learning this thing and she said this, okay, later on I'll practice that or learn that. No, you're actually having a cellular transmutation as you're receiving the call. So being present to that, making space and just breathing is going to allow so much more to get created in your body. So there's like a really powerful integration versus you listen to it and then you just like rush off to work or do your thing and you're like, wait a minute, how am I present to my body? Because your body's going to need a lot of extra water, a lot of extra nurturants. Move slowly to let that new frequency integrate. So it would be worthwhile to just secure that time. It's like an hour and a half usually each call, and make time to let it work on you. All right, Anne says, I received so much from the sensuality video that you posted the other day, and I'm using what I learned throughout. Thank you. Oh. All right. Brooke says, I know precisely when the chronic tinnitus started, a traumatic event. Yeah, that's not uncommon. And when you're able to use this technology of embracing health, you can allow that trauma to complete, not just to release. It's not a matter of, I got to get rid of this. It's just to let the integration complete in your system. Like, whoa, this happened. And what do I need? And what can I receive? And allow that completion. So now you're no longer carrying that trauma. You literally, you move beyond it. You're no longer carrying that. So everything in your life, your body can function differently. All right, the link is at drkimd.com/health. If you have any questions, we would love to hear from you, and you can email support@drkimd.com. The live calls will be each month, the first Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. Mountain. I know people will probably ask about that. I'll be in there, and I will address whatever is coming up through that. It's not that every single person is coming in live, but usually, and I've never had it before that I didn't address everyone's calls, so I will take the time to do that. It is not the integrations in the group recordings are very, very profound. So your expectation is to go through and complete those, and then I'll be there to kind of assist you in furthering that. So questions that come up, experiences that come up. You may or may not get all your questions answered in the live call, but I will be there during the week in the Facebook group to assist people personally and assist you through this transmission, reading into what's going on. You'll have a lot more of a personal connection from me in that Facebook group. What other questions might come up? Is the last day to sign up on the 5th. We do have our first group call live on the 5th. So if you're signed up by the 4th, you should have access to come for that. This is an ongoing enrollment. So you can, anytime this is a time that you're ready to start, you are welcome to start. Hold on. Is this wow, that's a whole new way to understand trauma, Brooke said. Oh, good. Well, if you liked that, there's way, way, way more of that you'll begin to understand as you integrate something higher. Like, why am I carrying this around? What's really going on? What's the lesson here? What's the gift? What am I ready to receive? That in being that receptive, this could just completely transmute. It's a non-issue. I don't even function that way anymore. Okay, Melissa. Evelyn said, my tinnitus came with CFS and fibro, chronic fatigue syndrome. It's 95% better with MindBody work and Dr. John Sano and releasing repressed emotions. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's really beautiful. And that this work is very, very much aligned with that. So anything you're doing along those lines, this will complement really greatly. So lots of love to everyone, and I look forward to connecting with you more fully if you choose to come into the live program for Embracing Health. It's drkimd.com/health. You will start with the first integration, which is about passion. Passion, and it's not just like, oh, this is a cool thing, an obsession. It's actually integrating this depth of your life force, this depth of your essence, what makes you most fully alive. And beginning to let that in right away is super transmutive to all of these lower frequencies and things you might have told yourself, like, oh, I can't have that, or I'm not good enough for that, or that's not even possible, or I'm just wishing for too much now, or I'm not worth it, I got to take care of everyone else first and I can do that later. But to really begin to take that step to prioritize you receiving what makes you most fully alive, and you will feel that immediately. And there's an exercise of how you integrate that every day after you do the call. So really, really a beautiful place for us to be starting the Embracing Health journey as I bring you through the work. And I look forward to, just hearing what you experience from that, because the participants who were in that call, they're still using that. It's still alive in their body right now and having an effect on enhancing and expanding their aliveness. So even if it were just for that one integration, this is 100% worth the investment that you'll make when you join the program. It's $2,000 investment, and if you're paying monthly, it's only like a few $100s a month. I think we've got it into like 5 monthly payments. You can see on the website how that's split up. You can email support@drkimd.com if you have any other questions at all for me that I haven't addressed here. And I'm sending lots of love to everyone. Everyone will be receiving some kind of expansion by the work we're doing in that program. We are all connected. So if this is a yes for you, say yes. Let yourself choose it. When you choose according to your passion and your aliveness and your yes, everything in your life expands. Your relationship with your kids' energy systems, your body on every level, your relationships, your work, your money, your bank account. You can know it's not about this is the right thing for everyone. You have to do this or you won't be able to function, or if you do this, everything good happens. No. If this resonates for you as a yes, and you're like, wow, I know this would be expansive, and then you choose it, it will immediately open up channels in your body that were previously blocked or shut down. And it's true for anything that resonates with you from the heart. So like really getting connected at the heart, breathing into the space, connecting with the body, you'll know the difference. Brooke says, can you re-listen to the integrations throughout the program? Yes, and you'll have them pretty much indefinitely, so you can listen to them over the years. If you're like, oh, I really want that nugget, I'm gonna tune back into that piece and allow this. You could take notes on them, so you kind of know what you received from each one, and you can use them as many times as you like. In fact, that's one of the things I have people do when I work with them privately. We do the integration, and I'll have them practice the harmonization part where they like speaking to their cells or connecting within their body or allowing transmutations to happen, to do that over again a few times to really strengthen that integration and keep them in a new alignment. Natasha says, can you download the sessions? Yes, you can download the sessions. They are on an audio, and you'll be able to download them to listen to on your own. All right, I'll just stay here for a couple more minutes in case there are any other questions. We've had people, and I do have some testimonials too, resolve Lyme disease, Epstein-Barr virus, a lot of thyroid and getting off thyroid medication, tons of chronic fatigue syndrome, environmental allergies, chemical sensitivity, pain, like tons of people who were in pain, resolving pain, MS, there have been people with MS, cancer, so what else? Lots of different kinds of chronic illness, like obscure, no-name chronic illness, when people are like, we don't really know what's going on with you. Landell says, any individual readings with Embracing Health? Yes, if you're in the Facebook group and make posts, I will be reading through those posts. Not every single one necessarily, because this community will grow over time and it, will expand. But yes, 100% to read into what's going on for you, feel into it. I do it all the time. So you'll have more individual attention in the Embracing Health Facebook group. Natasha said, can you download the sessions? Yes. Brooke, why is that not pulling up? Lyme, mold, parasites, Epstein-Barr virus, adrenals, thyroid. Yeah, it's a snowball effect, because once you're shut down from life force, hi Tatiana, once you shut down, it's only a matter of time before there's more and more and more ways your body is decompensating and no longer able to function in harmony. So in conventional medicine, we look at all of those things separately. Oh, we got this mold thing here. Oh, we got the Epstein-Barr virus. Oh, you got your pain complex. Okay, you got your adrenals. They're all separate and they're treated separately. But what we're doing here is in unity. Your body is one. It's whole. Yes, it can manifest dis-ease in various different channels, but when we feed into the core of what your body, letting your body receive what it really needs, all of those things can resolve, and they do. Melanie said, I just left Mario's call. I know, he told me it was awesome. That's so great. All right, so everyone, I am sharing lots of love with you. If there are other questions that come up, you can email me at support@drkimd.com. Mary says, Ehlers-Danlos, hypermobility syndrome. Yes, so I want to share one point here. It's not so much that you are going to tighten up the tissue and no longer have laxity in the tissue. But when you come into a higher frequency, you will function in greater health, vitality. What is it that you really need? Solidarity. What is it? Hold on a second. Oops, sorry. Mary. Okay, stability. So for you, stability is a very core piece that needs to integrate. And I get that it's like, wait, I just want to make this Ehlers-Danlos thing go away. And when you can integrate more stability, your physical body will function better, even though there may still be some hypermobility, but it won't have like pain or dislocation or drama, or disruption in your life the way it maybe has now. I'm not saying it can't resolve, because that's not true. It can, and things do. I'm saying that it's really clear for you. It's about anchoring into a greater level of stability, and there's many things that can look like, but that's what will allow you to function in a much higher space. Katie says, I already have MindBody Mastery. Oh, you know what? Just please email Jessica at support@drkimd.com, Katie, and we'll get you set. Brooke says, I've been approaching this from a charismatic Christian perspective and bumping into fear. Okay, so we'll just talk about this for a second, because a lot of people have asked me, will this go against my religion? So to the degree that you're anchored into divinity, love, truth, wisdom, it's all the same thing. This is not in any way ever going to counteract any of that. But sometimes people have a religious way of rejecting the body. So they actually have bought into this idea that my physical body is wrong and bad, and I have to be spiritual and like suppress the physical body. And then they have problems with food, or an eating disorder, or a digestive problem, and food intolerance. And they may not even consciously be aware that they're in that space. This is the third call, is transmuting hatred of the body, transmuting this way that we've seen the body as wrong or bad or less. And then I have to suppress it and overcome it and be spiritual. And like all of life is going to be a battle. The only thing your body can do in that energy is react, is become inflamed, is reject food, is to have less health. So we've got to rectify this and begin to cherish and love and nurture our body as a spiritual practice, not separate. So there may be a lot of fear, because in that, a lot of what's taught in some religions is fear-based. It's not about unity consciousness. It's not about, you do have the power within yourself. You are directly connected to the divine. You are infinitely worthy of love and belonging. So sometimes religions actually say the opposite of that. That is not the truth of the body. That is not the truth of who we are. And that can dramatically play into illness. Okay. Amy, hello. All right. And Melanie says, I realize I need to integrate deeper levels of comfort and ease. Yeah, a lot of times we bump that out because we're like, go, 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 go. Someone said to me yesterday, oh, well, you're a busy mom and you got a lot going on and you must just be busy all the time. And I was like, yeah, I would be if I didn't really actively advocate within myself. I get to be free. I get to have serenity. I get to take it easy. And so many things in the mind will say no, after you do this thing you do, after you accomplish that thing, you can have it. But until I learned how to carve it out now, in this 10 seconds, in this day, in this moment, I'll never have it, no matter what I accomplish. It's just like guacamole. Another thing will pop up and another thing and another thing, and it's never ending. So until you decide, there's nothing to wait for. I get to have it now, and you choose it. Not just decide. You have to choose it. Like my mom says, you put your money where your mouth is. And what that means is money's for a lot of people, that's the thing they think they value the most. That's the really important thing. And I'm going to work 90 hours a week for money, and all my choices resolve around how much money is it. And that's like the thing they value. But until you invest what you think is valuable into like choosing what you really value, it won't change. It's like people say, you can't honor two gods. You can't praise two gods. You really do have to start to prioritize, like, what do I live for? What matters to me? Am I willing to receive that now? Am I willing to choose that now? Or am I still going to make something else more important? So when you do that, everything can change, and you really do receive so much more. Melissa says, I value health. Brooke says, truth. Thanks. The body is holy. Unity. Well, when you understand it, it's one thing. But when you actually choose it, all your fear is going to come up. You got to have ways to transmute that. All of the, like, even the energies were under the rug, and now you're like letting them come up. You're going to feel things more intensely. You want to know how to expand beyond that so that you can let it release. And that's what we're doing in this work. You all can do that on your own. It's just dramatically accelerated when you have that guidance. Love to see you in the program. And I'll give you a little view of what we got going on here in Durango because it's so beautiful. I'm on this rooftop restaurant, little cafe, and those are our mountains. I live way over that way, over that mountain, but come into town a lot. So for those of you who are ready to join, I will see you soon, and otherwise I'll see you again on MindBody TV. Lots of love. Bye.